Hi there. My name is Sukwon. I'm the economics teacher here at ElitePrep, and today I'll be showing you how to solve a problem from the AP Microeconomics exam on game theory, right? We see our payoff matrix right there. Let's read. Two discount stores, Discount Delight and Bargain Floor, great names, sell a popular brand of athletic shoes. They are considering including these shoes in their upcoming sale. The relevant payoff matrix appears below, with the first entry in each cell indicating Discount Delight's profit from shoe sales, so here, 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 and here, and the second entry in each cell indicating Bargain Floor's profit, here, 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 and here. Don't get those confused. The two firms know all the information in the payoff matrix and do not cooperate. Ooh, that means they can betray each other, at least until part E. Let's take a look at part A first. If Discount Delight does not include the shoes in its sale, but Bargain Floor does include them, what will Bargain Floor's profit be? In order to determine the answer to this problem, all we're going to need to do is consider the situation where Discount Delight does not include the shoes, right? Which could be one of these two scenarios here, and the situation where Bargain Floor does include them, which could be one of these two cells here, right? And so all we have to do is essentially think, oh, when is Discount Delight not going to include, and when is Bargain Floor going to include? And that's going to, of course, be the intersection between these two circles here, right? At the bottom left cell, right? 100, comma, 250. And just be sure to note which one is which, right? The left number is always going to be the player on the left here, right? So 100 corresponds to Discount Delight, and the right number is always going to be the player on the top here. It's going to correspond to Bargain Floor, right? So whose profit are we considering here? We're thinking about Bargain Floor's profit, right? And that, of course, is going to be the second number. So we'd say that Bargain Floor's profit will be $250 in the case where Discount Delight does not include the shoes and Bargain Floor does. Let's go ahead and move on to part B. Does either player have a dominant strategy? If so, identify the player and the strategy. What is a dominant strategy? That's the first thing that we have to determine first. Dominant strategy, right? And so a dominant strategy is going to be a strategy that a player will always pick. Always pick, regardless of the strategy of the other player. And that just means that if a player has a dominant strategy, regardless of which out strategy that the other player picks, our player is going to always pick that one strategy, right? It, of course, could be the case that a player doesn't have a dominant strategy, right? So if we don't have a dominant strategy for a player, it means that they just switch strategies when the other player switches strategies, right? But if a player sticks to the same strategy when the other player switches strategies, that means that strategy for our first player is going to be the dominant strategy, right? So let's see if either Discount Delight or Bargain Floor have dominant strategies here, right? And all we have to do is consider how each player is going to react in the case of the other player choosing one strategy or the other. So let's consider the case of Discount Delight, abbreviated DD here first, right? So if Bargain Floor includes, right, we're faced with one of these two, right? Remember, Discount Delight's profits are on the left, right? We're faced with the choice of either $150, right, if Delight chooses to include, or a profit of $100 if Discount Delight chooses to not include. I'm just going to write DNI for do not include, right? Which one is Discount Delight going to pick? Well, obviously the one with the higher profit, and that's going to be to include the shoes in their sale, right? Let's see if Discount Delight reacts the same way when Bargain Floor does the other thing. If Bargain Floor include, right? Discount Delight faces these two strategies, right? Or these two profits. Either $200 if they choose to include, right? Or $240 if they choose to not include. Of course, Discount Delight is going to want more money, so it's going to choose to not include, right, and get the $240. Now, does Discount Delight have a dominant strategy? No. Why not? Well, in the first case, when Bargain Floor included, Discount Delight chose to include, right? And that's going to be right here, In the case that bargain floor did not include, we saw that discount delight chose to also not include. That's going to be right here. So we see that when bargain floor switched strategies, discount delight also switched strategies to get the higher profit. And as such, we see that discount delight does not have a dominant strategy, right? So let's consider the case for bargain floor. If discount delight includes, right, we are faced with one of these, right? And remember, since we're looking at bargain floor's profit now, we take a look at these second numbers, right? We're faced with either $180 in profit, right, if bargain floor chooses to include, or $100 in profit if bargain floor chooses to not include. Which one is bargain floor going to pick? Obviously the higher profit one. That's going to be right here, right? So it looks like this first strategy for bargain floor is to include. Let's take a look at the other case. If discount delight chooses to not include, well, it's going to be one of these. Bargain floor will either see $250 in profit if it includes, or $220 in profit if it chooses to not include, right? Which one is it going to pick? Obviously the $250 right here, right? Let's take a look. Did bargain floor choose the same strategy regardless of what strategy bargain floor picked? Yes. In both situations, regardless of whether discount delight choose to include or not include, bargain floor chose to include in both situations, right? And as we can see, bargain floor does have a dominant strategy, and that's going to be to include. Yes, bargain floor has dominant strategy. And that's going to be, of course, to include. And thus ends part B. Let's go ahead and move on to part C. Using numbers from the table, explain why both stores choosing not to include the shoes in their respective sales does not correspond to a Nash equilibrium, right? Ooh, what's a Nash equilibrium? Sounds pretty complicated, sounds pretty fancy. But if you paid attention in your micro class, it shouldn't be. Named after the famous statistician, mathematician, John Nash, of course. A Nash equilibrium is going to be a situation where neither player is interested in betraying the other or switching strategies, right? And because neither player's profits or outcomes will improve if they switch strategies, right? It's essentially a stable point where neither player wants to switch, right? So here we're taking a look at which cell where both stores will not include, right? So that's going to be this cell right here. We need to think to determine whether this situation is a Nash equilibrium, does either player have an incentive to switch, right? So let's first define a Nash equilibrium. So let's take the case of discount delight first. Discount delight's profit here in the DNI cell here is going to be, of course, $240, right? And we want to think to ourselves, well, can that get any better, right? If discount delight chooses to switch strategies, will that profit go up, right? Assuming, of course, that bargain floor continues to keep the does not include strategy, right? So let's take a look, right? So if discount delight switches strategies, right, to including, let's see what happens to the profit. It changes from 240, of course, to 200. Is discount delight incentivized to change? Well, just compare these two numbers. Very clearly not, right? Because discount delight is happy with $240 and obviously doesn't want to make less money by switching strategies. Let's see if this is the case for bargain floor. So right now, how much money is bargain floor making? Well, profit of $220. And let's see if bargain floor switches strategies to include what its profit is. Assuming that, of course, discount delight chooses to continue to not include. Its profit's going to be right here, $250. 250 smackaroos, right? Well, Is bargain floor incentivized to switch strategies? You betcha, right? Because if it chooses to switch strategies while discount delight stays with does not include, we can see that bargain floor earns $30 more in profit, right? And as such, this bottom right square, bottom right cell is not a Nash equilibrium, as bargain floor is incentivized to switch strategies, as if it includes, profit will be higher. At what? At 250, right? And that's what you're going to need to write there for the answer to part C. Let's go ahead and move on to part D. Identify the Nash equilibrium, or the equilibrium strategy for each store, right? And if it asks you to identify a Nash equilibrium strategy here in no uncertain terms, it means that there is a Nash equilibrium, right? So what we're going to need to do here is simply consider each player's strategies in the event that the other player chooses one strategy or the other. So let's go ahead and take a look at discount delight first, right? So in the case that bargain floor chooses to include, right? Bargain floor chooses to include, is it going to is discount delight going to include or not include, right? It's a choice between 150 or 100. Very clearly, discount delight is going to choose to include, right? And as you're solving the problem, what you want to do is just draw a circle there, right? You can X out 100 here if you want to. Let's take a look at the other situation. If bargain floor chooses to not include, what is discount delight going to do? Well, between 200 and 240, we know that it's going to want the higher profit of 240, so discount delight is going to choose to not include. So go ahead and draw a little circle right there. Now we can take a look at it from the perspective of bargain floor. If discount delight is going to choose to include here, we're taking a look at these two cells, right? Is bargain floor going to choose to include or not include? Well, between 180 and 100, 180 is clearly greater, so you draw a little circle there, right? And we know that bargain floor is going to include. And we see that we've already found a Nash equilibrium, right? But let's keep going. In the case that discount delight does not include, it's going to be these two cells, right? What is bargain floor's profit going to be? Either 250 or 220. Clearly it's going to choose 250 here, so we're going to circle 250 right there. It's a little confusing to see right now, but let me go ahead and erase the big circles here so it's a little bit more obvious. We see that there's only one situation where we have both profits circled, right? And that's going to be the include cell. And that's going to be our Nash equilibrium. In order to check that we've done this right, what we can basically do is think to ourselves, if either player switches strategies, will they gain a higher profit? And that's pretty easy to check, right? So looking at it from the perspective of discount delight first, right? Assuming that bargain floor is continuing to include, right? Is discount delight going to gain a higher profit by switching from include to not include? No, right? Because 150 is greater than 100, right? In the case of bargain floor, assuming that discount delight continues to choose to include, is bargain floor going to make more money by switching strategies to not including? And again, no, right? Because we're choosing between 180 and 100, right? So bargain floor has no incentive to switch to a smaller profit. And as such, we can see that the Nash equilibrium strategy for each store is to include and to include. Both of them choose to include. Let's go ahead and move on to part E. If the two stores could cooperate in choosing their strategies, would the outcome change? Explain, right? What does cooperate mean? Right? Cooperate means that they're going to settle on a strategy each and stick with it, right? That is, they are not going to betray each other. Sticking to one strat, right? Could be either one, right? It just means that they're not going to betray each other. No betrayal, right? They're going to be loyal, hopefully, right? And so what we need to do here is start with the Nash equilibrium, right? And see if there's a situation where they're both happy switching to, in the case that they'll be making more profit if they change strategies, right? So let's take a look here at discount delight first. Remember, our Nash equilibrium was include, right? So profit of 150 for Discount Delight and a profit of 180 for Bargain Floor, right? So for Discount Delight, it would be happier, right? Either in this cell or this cell, right? Because it's the two situations where Discount Delight is making more money, right? So Discount Delight is happy with either where it includes and Bargain Floor does not include, right? With a profit of 200 in that case, right here, right? Or the situation where it does not include and Bargain Floor does not include the profit of 240 in this case. Whoops, 240, yes. Now let's take a look at it from the perspective of Bargain Floor. Now we can see very clearly that starting at 180, it's going to be happy with either this profit or this profit, right? So Bargain Floor is happy with, let me switch colors here, happy with either where Discount Delight does not include and Bargain Floor does include, that's going to be I, or DNI, comma I, where it makes a profit of 250, right? Or the situation where Discount Delight does not include and Bargain Floor also does not include DNI with a profit of 220, right? And now once we've established which combinations of strategies that both stores are happy with, we need to see if there's overlap. And there very clearly is, right? Discount Delight is happy with DNI, and Bargain Floor is also happier with DNI, right? It'll be making more profit compared to Nash equilibrium in both in these cases, right? And as such, if these two stores cooperate, they're going to be moving from Nash equilibrium to this cell at the bottom right here, where Discount Delight makes $240 in profit, and Bargain Floor makes $220 in profit. Now, you might say to yourself, oh, if Bargain Floor switched strategies to including, it could make $30 more in profit. That's certainly the case, of course, but we are sticking with the assumption of cooperation, right? That is, they're going to pick a strategy and stick with it. Bargain Floor, even though it wants to, is not going to betray Discount Delight to make more money, right? Has to be faithful. All right, that's going to be our answer there for part E. That's going to be it here for the AP micro problem on game theory. I'll see you next time.